Hi. So, continuing with the series on short reviews on the H&K weapons from their first generation. This is the H&K P9S. This full-size military type sidearm. Caliber is 9mm. As you can see, these are very sleek lines. This gun was designed in the 1960s on a request from the Swedish Army, and their requirement was that the pistol have the same operating principle as the H&K G3 battle rifle, which means that this gun should have a roller lock mechanism to delay the blowback of the slide. We'll get into more details about that in a little while. Operating principle is your standard single action, double action trigger mechanism. As you can see, it has an external hammer, but this is not a striker fired pistol. It has a hammer, but it's internal. And magazine release is in the European position on the butt. Magazine is a single stack, 9-round affair, thus the denomination P9. They made such a big deal out of this because at the time, most if not all of the competition guns carried but 8 rounds in the magazine. So you may ask, how do you actually cock and uncock the pistol? Well, basically, you rack the slide to load the chamber, and the trigger goes to the single action position. You can determine that by this hump inside the trigger guard. If the trigger is behind this hump, it means it's single action. If it's right coinciding with the hump, it's double action. Plus, if you notice here, this little nub protrudes from the frame when the pistol is cocked. So this is a cocking indicator. It is not a loaded chamber indicator, as is the case with many guns. This is just a cocked mechanism indicator. Okay? Safety is the traditional European affair, mounted on the slide, down for safe, up for fire. But this safety will not block the firing mechanism. It's cocked, it's locked, but if you pull the trigger, it will still trip the sear and make the hammer fall. Thing is that the safety will, if actuated, block the access of the hammer to the firing pin. Okay? As you can see here, the mechanism is now uncocked, so the pistol is in double action mode, and you can see that the trigger is right above the little hump inside the trigger guard. Okay? This assembly is quite simple. You just push on this button inside the trigger guard and nudge the slide forward a little bit, and it will enable it to be lifted off the frame. Okay. Here you can see the hammer, which is normally enclosed by the slide. See? And so here you can also see that if you push down on the decocking lever, this is actually a multi-function lever, but we'll just call it the decocking lever. If the pistol is in double action and you push down on this lever, it will cock the hammer. To decock, the instructions manual says you should push down on the lever, hold it there against the spring pressure, pull the trigger, and release the lever. So now the pistol is decocked. Okay. Frame on this gun is all steel, but it's stamped steel. And it has a grip frame here that's attached to the main frame by these two screws here, and this will slide right off if you remove these two screws. Trigger guard and the front of the frame are covered by this plastic subframe. There's no need to remove them now. And this lever here, which decocks the gun, also serves as the slide stop. You see here, this is the slide stop. If you have an empty magazine in, it protrudes up into the slide channel and will lock the slide back. If you want to release the slide, you just press down on it. As you can see, it retracts out of the way and releases the slide. The slide itself is also made of steel, packerized over a Tanifer finish. Fixed sights. These orange painted bars and the white bar on the front side are as they came from the factory. Note, the sights of course are not height adjustable, they're drift adjustable, but as opposed to most of the other fixed sight pistols, if you want to adjust point of impact sideways, you move the front sight and not the rear sight. So to adjust the impact, you move the front sight in the opposite direction you want the hits to move. So if you're striking left on the target, you want to move the front sight to the right. Okay? Safety here is on, and I don't know if you can really see it. Ah, there you go. Putting it off safe will pivot a bar of steel out of the way. You can see it pivoting right here. See? Now the hammer has access to the firing pin, which is right under there, and now access to the pin is blocked. So this is your safety mechanism. Removal of the barrel is very simple. You just pull the barrel towards the front of the slide and you lift it off the slide. Spring goes around the barrel into a recess in the barrel assembly here. This spring goes only one way into the barrel, meaning that the spring has to go in and enter this recess. If you try to do it the other way around, the spring will not go in and the gun will not assemble correctly. So keep that in mind. Here we have the slide almost empty now, and this is the breech block, which contains the locking mechanism. This should be removed and cleaned and oiled as per directions in the instruction manual. And to release it from the slide, you use the barrel itself. You use this part, this tongue on the barrel. You insert it in this space between the slide and the breech block. You push down on it, and then you release the breech block. Here is the firing pin guide with the firing pin inside. Okay. And this is the breech block itself. This is the breech face, the extractor, and this is the roller. One on the right side, one on the left side. Principle on this is that when this is inserted into the firing pin, these rollers protrude from the block and lock the slide and the barrel to allow the gases to exit the barrel. And so when pressure eases on this, the rollers retract into the block, and then the whole slide can go back and forth. So when you clean this, you should wash it with kerosene or paraffin, as they call it. And then once it's dried out with a compressor, you just put 2 drops of oil in here, and that's all there is to it. Reassembly is easy. You just position the breech block correctly. That means with the extractor up towards the top of the slide. Just position it over the firing pin block. You compress the lock again, and there you go. You can see it retracts a little bit. You assemble the barrel with the spring, making sure that the spring goes into the barrel like this, and you just insert the barrel, push it forward, and there you go. Rifling on this barrel is the now famous polygon rifling from H&K. So it's not your conventional rifling. And assembly is reverse order. You just align these cuts with this cut on the frame. And retract the slide a little bit. And there you go. This gun was made in 2 different calibers other than 9mm. It was also made in 7.65 Parabellum, which is the 30 Luger caliber. And it was also made in 45 ACP. This was specifically designed for the American market. But slide assemblies are not interchangeable between 7.65 and 9mm and 45. 45 gun is a little bit bigger, but in the slide area, but otherwise they're the same. If you put a 7.65 barrel and recoil spring into this frame, it will probably work without any problems.